Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with another edition of my Road to Recovery series. And I'm actually going back in time because I haven't really been able to scrapbook these photos while I was still in the midst of so much pain and fear and everything that I've been living through the last few months. So these are actually some photos of me in bed, because I spent the majority of my time in bed for months leading up to my diagnosis and the beginning of my treatment. So this is actually a photo. My mom had, done what moms do and asked me how I was feeling. So I sent her this photo of me literally laying in bed working, because when you're self-employed, there is no safety net. There is no paid time off. There's nothing. So I worked through all of this. And then this was a photo of my pupper snuggling me. She knew that I felt really bad. So at least I think she knew I felt really bad. So she was snuggling me. So these are like two photos I have of me in bed that I wanted to tell the story of how scared and how much pain I was in. So this is, I'm using the My Chronic Life collection from Clever Monkey Graphics, Tracey Monette at Sweet Shoppe Designs. Like I mentioned in the last video, there was an embellishment that I wanted to use, and I thought instead of waiting for another flare, because there will be more, I would use it now. So it says Flare Bear. It's like a Care Bear, but it's a Flare Bear. So I'm scrapping an old flare, and actually, since I never scrapbooked the beginning of this journey, it's going to be nice and cathartic to get it on paper. So I wanted to talk about this paper before I dove in. So I created this paper using papers in the digital collection. That's one thing I love about digital stuff, is that you can create your own stuff with what they have made for you. So there's a paper in the collection. Well, there's two. So there's one here that has words all over it, and I chose to cut out the ones that say "so done, everything hurts." There's multiple words, like multiple phrases on this paper, but I just cut out this one that says "so done, everything hurts," and then I just copied it all over the canvas. And then in the background, I added this multicolored sort of painted paper that's also in the collection, so that they are layered together. But before I did that, I went ahead and selected just the insides of these words and painted them with red paint so that they stood out from the background. They also have a white background because the paper was originally white. So it's white background with red paint over the top. And I just put this at the bottom here so that it was basically, it is my title. It's my title for the page. Then the last thing I did was add some of these scribbly spots and these bursts, which kind of make me feel like pain bursts, I guess is where I was going with that, in strategic spots to sort of guide my layout. And then I have some of the patterned papers from the collection, some of the more standard patterned papers from the collection cut out in circles, and then some embellishments, including my journaling on two different labels. So this is going to come together fairly quickly because I did start this process in Photoshop beforehand. So I wanted to walk you through my process and just sort of how I approached this whole layout. So I knew I wanted to use both of these photos. And I also wanted to use this journaling card, which I resized smaller. And I'm going to layer these two together. And you can see that I resized it perfectly so that the words fit on the top and bottom of this photo so that it frames it perfectly right here. I'm also going to rough up a bunch of the edges just because I feel like that really helps to sort of capture the way I was feeling. Distressed. I'm going to distress the edges because I was feeling distressed. I'm going to not do it over my layout so I don't get paper everywhere. Well, okay, let's move the layout so you can see what I'm doing. So I just want to rough everything up. It'll also give it some nice texture since this is a hybrid layout, and I've talked about this a lot. When you are creating layouts that are just paper-based or mostly paper-based, not chipboard, no enamel dots, that kind of stuff, although I do add enamel dots and things to my pages. But when you're creating layouts that are very much paper based, sometimes they can get a little bit flat. So I'm going to rough up the edges, which will give me some non-flatness for my page. I'm going to do it also with these circles, which I think I'm actually going to tear a little bit too. Not huge tears, but just tears around the edges to give me some, I don't necessarily want straight lines, but I want angles since there are a lot of circles on this page. So I'm just going to, and if I don't like this, I can just stick it underneath the photo, this part. So I'm just gonna go like this. I really feel like it kind of captures the, like, just the stress of being so chronically ill, especially since, I mean, it feels like your insides are being torn up when you're sick all the time. So I just want to capture that sort of vibe. So I am putting these circles so that they are sort of bouncing around the scribbly circles in the background. This one has hearts on it, so when I tear it and when I put it down, I'm gonna make sure that the hearts are right side up. I have been loving distressing and tearing so much lately. It just adds so much more impact to my layout. It gives me a little bit of a creative boost. I'm gonna put this one down here. So since it's gonna be sticking out the bottom, I want it to be like torn right here. There we go. And then red. So I want to put the red up here so that it kind of counterpoints the red at the bottom. Since there is a little bit of red on this page, but there's no red in the background. So I want to sort of create a triangle, a visual triangle, or I don't know if it'll be a triangle, but a somewhat of a visual geometric shape so that, let's see, so that you get that those three counterpoints of red on the page. So I'm gonna put this one up here. Let's put it right about there. Well, I think a little bit farther over, because we're gonna have this photo right here. Oh, look, that fits perfect. Look at that. All right, last but not least is the blue, which is going to span both sides of this page when I cut it apart. Get that distressing in. The only side of the blue that I think you're gonna see is like right here in the middle. So I don't think I'm gonna tear the middle. I think I'm gonna leave this one untorn. And we'll put it right here. And right here. I need to overlap it too much, but we might have to adjust it as we put things down. So let's start with this part, which is gonna go right here. And then the next one goes here. I do want to put this underneath it. It says hello, and then I added pretty sure I'm dying because I was absolutely positive that I was dying. It's funny because I did diagnose myself, like I knew what was wrong with me, but waiting for my diagnosis, it got so bad, the pain got so unbearable that I was convincing myself that there was something else wrong, that I had cancer, that I had various organ prolapses, that there just had to be something more wrong with me than what I thought was going on because I was in so much pain. Luckily, none of that came to fruition. Unluckily, I am still stuck with a chronic disease for the rest of my life, but I'll take that over cancer. So, all right, so I did design these labels with my journaling on them to work around embellishments. So that's why, especially this one is super wonky. Well, you can't see it. Super wonky because it's going over here in this corner. And this one is going up under here. Oh yes, look at all these circles. I love the way that the circles work with these, like this linear background here that I have going on, because there's just a lot of like really bold graphics that I think are really nicely offset by the circles. All right, I'm gonna cut this in half now that I've got it all put together so that I can make sure I don't go over the middle too badly. It is gonna cut my title in a weird spot, I'm sure, but oh well. Oh, see, look, it's a little too far over. My photo is too far over, so let's move it over a little bit. Gotta be real careful with this paper because it is Epson Premium Presentation Paper, which is very textured. Oh, see, which is very textured. So that makes it easy to rip, but that's okay. We're just gonna move it over here. Probably need to move this over now so that I have room in the middle for my chronic illness bear. All right, now I'm gonna cut it in half so that I know where the holes go. Oh, look at that, it's gonna cut my tear in half. My goodness. Let's move this all over. I guess I should have cut it in half first. But I don't always like to do that when I'm working with a design that spans the whole page, because sometimes then it doesn't span the page well. All right, I think that's good. I'll put the red circle back on now that it's cut. There we go. All right. I will staple all of these tears down when I'm done. Okay, now let's add the holes because that will definitely mess me up later. Oh, goodness. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. See, the holes mess me up sometimes. Let's see if I can get it all the way in here. I think I did. Yay. Oh, and look at that. It works around the tear perfectly. Okay, there we go. I'm loving how this album comes together, or is coming together. Like, I don't love that I have to make this album, but I'm finding it really cathartic to scrapbook this experience. I always find it really cathartic to scrapbook bad things when I'm ready. And normally I'm ready, I think, earlier than most people because I use my art to work through it. So last week, or previously, when I scrapbooked Abby dying, it helped me work through that. And this is helping me work through some of this other stuff. Okay. Now I've got little bits and bobs to add, including my flare bear, who's gonna go right here around this hole. So cute. That adds a little bit more red too, although I am adding more red. There's red on the journaling card and there's red over here, but I think it's good that it's adding some more red to this page because I really felt like it was a very cool colored page, so it needed some more. Look at that flare. So cute. Okay, and a heating pad because life was lived on a heating pad for months and months. I'm just gonna put it right over the top here. And then right here is gonna go out of order. Because I was definitely out of order. Look at how sad I look. I guess you're gonna look sad when you think you're literally dying. I don't know, do you ever take pictures in the bad times? Some people find it weird, which I understand, but I'm a documentarian at heart, right? This is my job. This is what I built my whole life around. So not documenting the bad things seems like it would be weirder for me. Smiley, he's very sad, right on top of my sad face. All right, the last bits for the collection or for the kit are gonna go right here. And it says, I can't remember how it feels. Oop, not upside down. Ah! How it feels. I'm gonna put them down a little wonky to not hurt. Yep. Oh, I love that. It came out so cute. Okay, so now the question is, do I want to add anything to it? I kind of want to move these over a little bit. I wonder if I can without ripping everything. Look at that. Thank you, paper gods. Okay, I like that. Now I need to, am I gonna glue these down? No, let's add some texture. Let's add some staples. Can I do it? Oh, nope. I love these little just like pops of white. Uh-oh. Oh no! I am starting to run out of staples. Amazing. I got this tiny attacher from a subscriber years ago, and I have never run out of the staples that it came with. There we go. And last but not least, I'm gonna get that cord too, because it doesn't want to stay. Wrap that up around my photo. Ooh, let's add some X's. Then we wonder why I'm running out of staples. Yes, look at the X's. Perfect. Oh, I love the way that that looks. Okay, I'll pull some stuff up away from the page, just so we get some lift and some height. So I don't know how many more of these layouts I'm going to be making. Obviously, I'm going to be dealing with chronic pain, chronic disease for the rest of my life. But you saw last video that I got my first infusion of biologics, and I actually feel good. I don't know if it's like placebo effect, because they really shouldn't work that fast, but I do indeed feel good. So I will probably make periodic updates in this album, but if everything goes well, I was looking for these and I couldn't find them. If everything goes well, I won't have anything to report. Life will be back to normal. But I don't think it'll ever be normal again. I just think we'll get as close to normal as we possibly can. Okay, I'm gonna use these teal dots just as a couple of fun little bling spots. Oh. And then I'm gonna call it good. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracey M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link to the playlist. You should be on the playlist for this series if you're new here. But there is a link to this kit in the description box below. And I will see you next time. Thank you.